Welcome to episode 289 of the Overlook Hour. I'm your host, Clark Little. Along with me, as always, is producer extraordinaire Oksana Valeria Novosachi. Hello.
I mixing things up today.
Because today is Hallows Eve. Russell, hit the cue.
What's the cue?
Happy Halloween!
Oh, I don't have that.
Boo!
I did. You know, I never even set that up for the Creepy Clark Halloween Thunder. I recorded one of our decorations downstairs, and I thought about pulling it for Halloween, but I didn't think we were gonna draw attention.
That
to
voice you hear right now, which I am very disappointed in, is Russell John the Fisherman.
Well, I had Halloween spirit all month, and we're here now, and it's kind of like the episode's not gonna go up till what, November 2nd?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. But what I do know is that also joining us from Atlanta, Georgia, Randy Michaelstad.
That's me. We're going to go with Revolting Randy for this holiday Halloween episode. And I also would say that you keep let's just keep spooky going into November. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah, you know what? Y'all are claiming to be festive, and I'm looking at the movies you're going to talk about. Not so festive.
What are you talking about? I got a horror film.
Oh, is that okay?
Thank you so much.
Is it a Halloween movie? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
No.
I didn't think so.
It is if you want it to be, man.
Dude, I've been living the Halloween life. We went to a fucking Terror Vault.
Oh, how was that?
It was great. I mean,
explain to our listeners what Terror Vault
Vault is a nationally ranked. I say that, and I don't know what the standard.
There's rankings and AP rankings of horror.
So Peaches Christ does one out here at the Mint. And it's nationally ranked in that people do polls all the time, or top 10, and it's on there now.
Sure.
It's still pretty new, but it's been it was trending on Twitter last year. Like Jason Blum flew out to do it. I don't know, it's pretty cool.
It's like the biggest haunt within San Francisco, I think I've ever.
Which is insane much.
No, but no one wants to do this in San Francisco. It's like, oh, San Francisco meaning Oakland, or very close to San Francisco in the East Bay.
All of our culture's gone.
So, Jason Blum puts his stamp on everything. So
I think he's almost like Starbucks for real estate.
Yeah.
Like if he
guess
shows
what
up,
sucks? Both of them.
Well, no, the property value goes up because they scout it really well. And I think that dude, he's got a good pulse on whatever Instagram horror community is all about.
But what he doesn't have a good pulse on is quality.
I don't know. He's hit or miss.
We may talk about that later.
I don't know. He's making it work. He's making movies with the budget.
His checkbook's full. That's nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't complain. I like to complain about Blumhouse, but I'm not going to.
I will.
You would have hated that night, though, because we shot Terrell's last Blu-ray Tuesday in October, which he decided he wanted to do a skit during.
Mm-hmm.
So he showed up and he's like, hey, I want to do some acting, but also we need to leave here by blank. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
And but all it did was stress him out. It actually, the skit came out good, and we got to the sketch.
Thank you.
The bit came out great.
Better.
And we got there with 5 minutes to spare, and very
God, it's unreal.
But then I think we didn't even end up going in during our time slot. It was like,
they give you
what the hell?
They sell tickets based on time, and you would think, oh, okay, you show up there and someone's like, you have a spot reserved, but really you check in, then they stamp you and you wait in a line.
It's really
they know what they're doing.
It's like a metering system, just so that there's not too many people in there all at once.
But
they have some tickets left for today and Friday.
Oh, they must have opened up, because when we were there, they said they were completely sold out until November 5th. And they're like, you got to buy them there. They're $60 tickets, but if you're out here, go do it.
$60?
Yeah.
What does $60 get you?
$65 for today, and then $55 for the Friday.
You get an hour-long, basically, play. It's kind of a hunt, because you're walking through the basement level of the Mint, which they turn, this year, it's all a vampire theme.
Mm-hmm.
It looks great, movie quality.
Vampire.
I partook, I don't really drink anymore. My routine daily is I come home, I take a couple hits of a joint, I read a book. I'm very zen. I'm very IT San Francisco now. Dude, I stopped doing a lot of free weights. I use kettlebells. Dude,
You're Brody Stevens. now.
So
Yes.
we were rushing. I was like, I'm not going to hold everybody up. I just, took a little gummy. That thing hit me when I got there, and it was like I was just watching a movie. Like I was having a little trouble walking down the stairs. And for some reason in our group, the actors kept picking me to do things. So at one point, a dude grabbed me by the arm. He looked like our favorite vampire from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Yeah.
And he was just
Laszlo.
he caught my eyes, and he was like, "Look at me. If you want to get in the vampire club, you need to say this phrase." And I was just like, "What's happening?" And he told me 3 times, direct eye contact. Like if my eyes wandered, he would bring them back and be like, "Dude, listen to me." And he pushed me through the coffin. I started going down the little tunnel, and I went, "I don't know what he just said." And the whole time I was almost in like a panic. I was just walking. I'm like, "Oh God, what did he just tell me?"
I would hate that.
I know, but I was honestly, dude, I was in a great mood. We bought like 3 drinks for $15 each before.
God.
We got in line.
We got one for free because he made the wrong one. He's like, "You gonna drink this anyway?" And I was like, he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna drink it."
But like Oksana was like, "I can't finish this." So I was having like a panic attack. We got in the line. I just yelled out something. The guy's like, "Close enough," and let us. Yeah, dude, it was fun. They made me get on my knees and pray. Dude, I was having a.
When was the last time that happened?
we both had to. We were being, I don't know.
Yeah,
Punished.
they picked us out.
Me and Randy, we're good Christian boys, so we got knee pads built into all our pants. Ain't that right, brother?
I'm wearing a compression band on my knee right now, actually. I've been having knee issues.
Oh my God! What we got? Jim Randy is taking a hit. What's going on?
No, my right leg / knee has been giving me issues for like a couple years now, and I just can't figure out what it is. My doctor thinks I have Raynaud's syndrome, which is just like your one of your extremities doesn't get enough circulation, so it feels like cold and numb, sort of.
Oh,
Randy, you were in the last year of your early 30s, so
Yep.
shit. Yeah, I think that's how I broke it down. So, things are just going to start hurting randomly.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yesterday I had a sharp pain in my right big toe that just would not stop. So that's diabetes, I'm sure.
Did it fall off?
Not yet.
All right.
We're still we still got
Dude.
movement. We're good.
Diabetes, like I've been good like lately. Like, I mean, this month, this week, oh no, my teeth are gonna fall out. Like
You've gone to Candy Town?
Oh yeah, dude. I brought a bag of fucking what the hell was I eating?
Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids into the theater, like a grocery store bag. Like my tongue, I got the bumps and like it went numb. Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing?
I don't like sour candy.
Oh, I
can't. No.
I like gummy, but you got to put extra sugar on it for me.
No, I only like gummies if there's drugs in them.
You know what? I was thinking, to close the book on TerraVolt, shout out to Skinner. He had a big statue of that
Leonard?
mushroom. No, Skinner, the artist from
I understand.
Yeah, the one that's in our favorite documentary.
Yes.
What the hell is it called?
Feels good, man.
Feels good, man. Thank you, Randy. And yeah, shout out to the Ghoul, our buddy who was acting in it. She did great. And Peaches Christ for keeping this shit alive. Also, she's got a podcast. Search it; it will pop up. Another thing, I want to plug our show. There was a joke that we had that never came up on the podcast, where I got Robbie Smith, our previous guest, to do some Halloween merch for us.
Yeah.
And I put together a Teespring for it. There's a bunch of stuff up there. And 2 weeks ago, I posted about it. Never mentioned it on this fucking show. Never once. And the joke then was Randy was like, great, just in time to not get this by Halloween. So now here I am promoting it on literally Halloween for an episode that will go up 2 days later. I guess I was going to take them down after Halloween, but I'm going to leave it up there for a couple weeks. There's cool shit in there.
Oh shit.
Robbie Smith. He did a great job.
Randy's got a plug here.
Oh,
there
you got
it is.
dude. So Randy
Came yesterday.
dude, and Robbie ordered 2 of those mugs.
So did I.
Did one of them show up shattered for you too?
No, they both came like perfect.
God damn it.
I haven't ordered anything. I wanna order
Me
those.
either. And I liked all the shit.
They
in
look
there.
better than the Fast mugs we got.
Yeah, it's the coloring
Yeah.
that they do on there. Yeah, those ones came out good. Yeah, so I don't know if you want Halloween shit for next year. This is why we can't market anything. It's just terrible.
Well, it just goes back to your inability to understand time.
I just need a team. I got that thing together. I put all the artwork on there. I built out the website, and then I just need somebody to promote it. I can't get anybody to do that.
I'm gonna pitch you an idea. I was looking at online schedules, and my therapist has openings on Thursdays.
I can't afford her. On Thursdays?
Yeah,
I thought you only worked on Wednesday.
I can get you a guest pass. No, I'm actually Tuesday at 7 a.m. this week.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
How's it been going?
It's fine.
Did she tell you not to talk about it?
No, the whole thing was the first thing, it was message exchange. She was like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And I had an incredibly long laundry list.
Really?
And then, like, when we were talking, and I was going through everything, and she was like, sounds like your anxiety comes from your father. And I'm just like, hey, clear some room on your shelf. You got an award coming to you, young lady.
I just imagine you like Costanza, where he went in there and he was just like trying to zip up his jacket. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, it's stuck. The zipper's stuck. And she's like, well, just leave it. You can get it later. He's like, no. And she's like, okay, let me try. And then like the whole thing devolves into like petty shit.
Yeah,
I think you're going to do that to her.
probably.
Did you do video or was it just
Video.
Weird? Where
Yeah.
were you?
In a hotel room in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, okay. If you were at home, where would you be?
Here in this room.
Okay. Because I could see people just not thinking about it and be like laying in bed.
Yeah, like the hundreds of interviews I've done in the past few weeks of people just having their laptop on their lap in their bed, wearing T-shirts and nighties.
Well, are they applying for a remote job? There's no excuse. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was going to try and play devil's advocate.
It's
there.
unreal. It's unreal how stupid and lazy this
here's the
generation
thing.
is.
They don't want a damn job.
I know.
Yeah, that's the
They're
thing.
going through the motions. I can tell.
So you should pull the rug out from under and be like, you know what? I got a good feeling about you. You're hired.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, wait a
I
minute.
know.
Let me stand up. I'm naked.
I know.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's Halloween. I'm bummed you're flying out today.
As am I. I don't want to go back today.
Tell them your toe fell off
I'm just.
and you can stay.
I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick.
I'm
of it now.
genuinely bummed. I don't want you to leave.
It took 17 weeks, but I don't want to do it anymore.
You don't want to go hang out in Arizona?
I hate that hotel.
All right. Well, you know what? We sent away Creepy Clark. I don't know if he actually lives in your body, but I kind of miss him. Not really. Don't bring him back. But I do have a special guest for you today.
Oh boy.
He's back. We're flying him in. He's done all of his hot takes on Dune, and he's here on the holiday.
Here we go.
So let's welcome back our favorite guest, director of Elephant Man, David Lynch.
Good morning. It's October 31, 2021, and it's a Sunday. Day 2 of weekend projects. Today, I hope to be working with resin, wood, and plaster. Everyone, have a great day.
Dude, not okay. Not a single mention of Halloween or anything. I don't know. Every time he has a pause like that, I get worried too.
Yeah.
Also, what the hell is he making? Resin, wood, and plaster?
He's lost.
Some multimedia projects, dude.
I
You get
think-
a little paint, you get a little resin, you get a wood canvas of sorts.
What are
All
you,
right.
Woodworker Magoo over here?
Oh yeah, I'm doing all sorts of art over here now.
Brandy, what have you any new hobbies over there in Atlanta? You're sussing out the landscape. You're sussing out the people. What's and also, how was last week? You had all of last week off, and now you're returning back to work. So,
Indeed.
did you have anything constructive last week that you did?
I did mostly nothing and barely left the house, but I did have some time to play some music and get a little creative again. So I recorded a song and I sent it to our buddy Christian to put vocals on just for fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we've been hanging out. He invited me to a couple shows that he was working at this venue/bar called Boggs out in Atlanta. So that's been fun.
Did you go out to a show last night?
I did, yeah. There was a Iron Maiden tribute band and a Black Sabbath tribute band, two bands of which I know very little music, but it was cool.
What was the Iron Maiden band called?
Maiden Killers?
Were they female or male?
Male.
Boo. I like all the Iron Maiden tribute bands that are all women. There's something about girls that can shred that just make it fun. That's why I like Oksana.
You shred, dude?
You got an axe over there?
Surprised.
She shreds the sitar, dude.
Oh, hot. Randy Michael. Now, you did say that you did think it was Mac Sabbath, but then you told us that it was Slack Sabbath. So did it have anything to do with the corporate messaging service?
No, I don't know what the name actually comes from, but yeah, it was Slack Sabbath, not the McDonald's inspired.
They just all wore pants?
Yeah, lots of slacks. They also seemed very lazy too.
Oh, nice. Russell, where's your pun?
God. No, I'm not touching that.
Boo. So did they have like a gimmick? What's going on?
Not really. It wasn't, isn't metal kind of gimmicky?
All right.
Oh boy.
I'm going to cut his mic.
Starting beef on Halloween.
No, it was fun though. But yeah, I know very little. I know maybe 0 Maiden songs, and I know maybe like 3 Sabbath songs.
Okay. Well, you know more than that. It's a fact.
I'm punk rock scum. I didn't get into metal for too long.
Yeah, we understand. We know your backstory, dude. We know your origin story.
Yeah, we all know you have low T.
True.
All right. Russ, anything else up top?
Nah.
Okay. Brandy, on this Hallows Eve, we're going to give it to you to start the show where you tell us something that you watched last week. Now, it could be one film. It could be 2 films. It could possibly be a television show. You could actually tell us a story from your life. Whatever happened
I'm good.
to you last week, please start this segment so I don't have to talk anymore.
I have been watching a lot of food shows, which I
hell
assume
yeah.
Clark will appreciate.
What
I got really into
BGG?
Sorry?
Guys Grocery Games?
Oh no, I have no idea what that is. I've been mostly watching because I watched David Chang's Hulu show, The Next Thing You Eat. And then I went back and started watching Ugly Delicious, and I watched that entire 2 seasons of that show as well.
I haven't started that. Should I get into that?
Which one? They're both good.
Ugly Delicious.
It's good, yeah. Kroll shows up in several episodes.
Okay.
Apparently they're buddies.
Everyone
But
is.
besides watching too much cooking shows, I watched a movie called Language Lessons. That is now on VOD, directed by Natalie Morales, starring Natalie Morales and Mark Duplass.
I know that.
This is a movie that basically is kind of like basically a Screen Life movie. It does have like titles and stuff like that, and background music. It's basically a really good drama that takes place over Zoom and Skype calls and FaceTime. Essentially, the story begins with Mark Duplass and his husband, and his husband gets him Spanish lessons because he knows a good amount of Spanish and kind of just wants to learn a little more. So he gets him 100 Spanish lessons, and he kind of surprises him with this by having the teacher, who is played by Natalie Morales, kind of like join a Zoom call. You never see his husband. He's featured just in voice off camera.
Oh.
Then you see Mark Duplass kind of come in and he's like, what's this all about? And he's like, oh yeah, you got Spanish lessons because your husband got them for you because he heard you wanted to like learn more. So pretty soon on, there is a thing that happens to one of their characters that really kind of like speeds up their like friendship and their relationship. And then so the movie kind of like goes from there, and I don't know, it's basically just a really good drama. Lots of very long takes, with just like just the conversations of them, and it doesn't cut very often. It's very it's a lot of long takes, and they're both really great. Mark Duplass is always good. Natalie Morales I'm less familiar with, but I think I've seen her in some TV shows and stuff. But it's really good. It definitely kind of pulls at the heartstrings a little bit, and I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It's good. It's a movie that I believe they did shoot during like the pandemic, but it honestly doesn't bring up anything having to do with a pandemic, which is refreshing. That it's just kind of using this format and not really like addressing it like a lot of movies that were made over the last 2 years have.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Like even seeing people in masks or doing any of that shit, like like eventually when we are beyond this, I don't want to be reminded.
Sure.
Now, is this a film that would qualify for our film fest, or were you saying that they broke format?
I think it could qualify. I mean, you have things I think that have background music sometimes, and have like titles and stuff like that. So it's not like completely like breaking rules or anything. It's just like, it's not as strict as something like you're not seeing like, the whole screen of like someone's computer and like how they're like interacting with like apps and stuff like that. It's kind of like, you're just essentially seeing like the calls.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. It's cool.
You could make an argument for that. It would just imply that somebody had gone back and edited the footage. The only thing that would really make or break it is if, there's a disembodied camera. If it's all in-world camera, it works. And
totally.
I've been talking a lot about this week where, Dogma 95, they break their fucking rules every goddamn time.
Oh, yeah.
So, you put in some BMG and maybe have a
BFG.
Edited sick reference. Maybe have a cool I don't know, breaking rules I'm going to talk about much later.
Breaking glass.
Hell
Yeah.
Also talking about later.
Oh, a little hint there.
Yeah. Did I like oh boy.
I
I like Natalie Morales.
Yeah, she's really good. Yeah, the writing is really good. All the conversations are really like interesting. And there's a lot of like ups and downs between their like friendship that they build throughout the movie. And I don't know, sometimes like just watching a movie where people are just like, if it's written well and there's just like a movie of people just talking, like My Dinner with Andre, for example, like it can be really entertaining sometimes when you're just watching people talk for whatever reason. So it's good.
Can I tell you one of my favorite jokes that never worked?
What?
Was when I did My Dinner with Andre the Giant.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
It never worked.
Well, I mean,
works sometimes.
Look at that Venn diagram you're asking for.
I know.
Yeah.
I tried to set up this best as possible, but
I think those can work if they're spiraling. Like if you open with broad and then get like niche and then get like obscure, that works.
I changed what he said and then it started to work. You know what I changed what he said to?
What?
Anybody want a peanut?
I've never seen Dinner with Andre.
You don't have to, but this is from
Andre the Giant.
Princess Bride.
Oh, okay.
So I had to get that Princess Bride crowd.
Oh, it's been a minute since I've seen that too.
Bro, that's a wonderful Halloween movie.
You could make an argument there.
Sure, I can make an argument for anything. Give me an example.
Of a movie or an argument for that?
Any movie, I can make it a Halloween movie. New segment. Here we go.
All right. Oksana, go ahead. Pitch him a movie. Anything that pops to your head.
Ski School.
There's a pumpkin in the second act. Next one.
You just literally looked at the first poster in this.
I did. I blanked. But also, how are we going to verify that? Because I think you
God,
just made it up.
both of you need to go take some improv classes or something.
Oh yeah, that's on my to-do list for sure, dude.
God.
Instead of paying $300 for therapy, just pay $300 for an improv lesson.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah. Next week we're gonna work on our heralds.
is that what it costs? $300?
I don't want to.
I hear they can be kind of
I don't want to
expensive.
get into my financials of me getting better as a person.
I was talking about whose line is it anyway.
Oh, that shit's crazy.
Improv might be interesting, except I would imagine everybody else in that class would be people I wouldn't want to hang out with.
Improv is not interesting and it's a scam.
Okay. Oh, it's part of QAnon. I get it.
100%.
It's a cult.
All right.
Speaking of scams, I also watched another movie that is actually just the first part in a story, and it ends. I watched Dune, Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I saw it in a theater by myself. No one else showed up, which is the second time that has happened since I've been here in Atlanta.
Now,
good
did
way
you
to see
see
a
it
movie.
in a IMAX or DX, XD,
No,
DMX?
just a regular.
So did you see on IMDb, the original title was Dune Part 1? Just notice that.
They released that after they released the movie, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was because it opened, the credits opened up with saying Part 1, right?
Yeah, it does.
Dude, I'm shocked. I haven't heard that from anybody.
Yeah.
And people have talked to me about it. They did the fucking trilogy teen book bullshit. Oh, my
Pretty much. Yeah.
God. All right.
Besides that being rather unsatisfying by the time it ends, because you just, the whole movie, the 2.5 hour part 1 is essentially a setup for part 2. So not a ton happens. But having said that, this movie looks great. It has a very tactile nature to it. Like all the creatures and all the ships and all the tech looks really cool. Has a really big sense of scale. Oscar Isaac is really good in it. Timothée Chalamet, he's fine. You barely see Zendaya in this. I think she has much more to do in part 2. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not as weird as Lynch's Dune. That's for sure. It's I don't know. He made a very good blockbuster out of a movie or book that is apparently very dense and very weird, and he does a good job of, I don't know, sort of putting the story out there without it being incredibly convoluted or esoteric.
Now, do you know the history of why he wanted his name removed?
Who, Lynch?
Yeah.
From the original? No, not really.
Yeah, I don't either. We do a lot of research on the show.
Now, I heard that Skarsgård does a Marlon Brando type impression.
Pretty much, yeah.
How was
It's good. I mean, everyone in it is great. It looks really good. It's just, it's a little disappointing that it's 2.5 hours and it's only the first probably act of a story. But
Well, it's a big old story, Randy. There's a lot of spice out there, baby.
that's
no pun
true.
intended. You
It's
didn't.
that synthetic weed that you can smoke that is legal, spice.
Indeed. Russell knows a thing. or
Never
two
tried
about
the stuff.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a take on Dune other than it's pretty good.
How about
It's,
Dune buggies?
Never ridden one, but I would. They seem fun.
I would love to see Randy in a dune buggy.
Okay, let's make it happen.
I don't know. Hear him scream.
Oh, I should talk about that. That movie we
screaming?
watched yesterday.
Can we talk about
There's
it?
a scream. I don't. Who cares?
There may be an embargo.
Yeah, I'm gonna break that embargo.
No one's listening.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Randy, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. I want to talk about a couple of movies I saw last week. I did not go out and venture the mean streets of Phoenix. I'll go out there. I got a couple theaters that I know, a couple theaters that are fairly close to my hotel. I do not go to the theaters that are very close to my hotel because I don't want to be stabbed. So What happened, this is the second time in a row I've done this where I buy a ticket online through the AMC application, bought a ticket for a movie, go downstairs, ask for an Uber through my Uber application, wait 2 minutes, start to smoke a cigarette, and then cancel both my movie reservation and my Uber, go upstairs to my room, order food, and watch a movie. I watched from 1975 a recommendation from one Robbie Smith, who recommended this movie to us a few weeks ago as we were talking about Silent Rage and Chuck Norris. And then I mentioned, man, that, I want to see more Charles Bronson. I'm a little behind in my Bronson. And he's like, well, you got to watch Hard Times from 1975. What he failed to mention is that Hard Times from 1975 is directed by the great Walter Hill. So when I found that, I got very excited. This movie takes place in the 1940s in New Orleans, Louisiana. And we have our protagonist is Charles Bronson, who plays a fella by the name of Cheney. Now, what you need to know is that this is actually a film that shows this is a bit of a biopic on one Dick Cheney.
I was going to say that or Lon Chaney.
Oh.
Yeah, Dick's better. It is definitely not. No, Cheney is, how would I describe him? He's a vagabond. Okay, the movie opens up and he gets off a train, and he's just, he's got his bindle stiff, and he's just working the road, man, town to town, just trying to collect a couple cents here and there, and just keep it moving.
Did you say bindle stiff?
Bindle stiff.
I thought it was stick.
No, it's bindle stiff.
Can somebody check that?
Look it up. 100%.
It sounds like a innuendo.
It sounds very phallic. The way that yeah.
It's called a bindle stiff.
Yeah, I have a bindle soft.
There it is.
Well,
A bindle stiff is a noun. It's
okay,
the
he's
person.
correct. We don't need to hear the rest.
Of course I'm correct, because I fucking said it.
It's the person, not the bindle.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's a bindle stiff. Guys.
I remember the first time I heard bindle, you were there, Clark.
Uh-huh.
Where somebody, what did he say? He was like, he thought he was going to get fired, and he's like, oh, I guess I'll tie my bindle.
Yeah.
And we're like, whoa, we did not think that dude knew that word.
No.
And I didn't either at the time.
He heard it from a cartoon.
Okay.
Sorry. Very clearly. So, Charles Bronson, he's a vagabond, a bindle stiff, a ragamuffin, a gutter snipe. He's also a very good bare knuckle boxer. So he starts, checking the scene, checking the underground bare knuckle boxing scene, which is apparently very popular at this time in the country. And he runs into the great James Coburn. James Coburn is incredible in this. Well, we've got James Coburn. We've also got Strother Martin. Man, great cast. He meets up with James Coburn. We see James Coburn eating at a restaurant in New Orleans, and he's eating oysters. And he goes and he's like, hey, I think I'll have another 6 of them. And then he gets his oysters, goes back to his table, and there is Charles Bronson sitting at his table. And he's like, all right, you got 2 minutes. What do you want? He's like, I want to fight. He's like, I don't think you're going to fight. So James Coburn, very fast talker. Charles Bronson doesn't speak a whole lot. He speaks, Russell Fisher, with his hand.
Okay.
So they take him to the fight, and Charles Bronson, very quickly knocks this guy out. All right. And then James Coburn's like, all right, I got my guy. And so then they start making other fights, and then they fight the biggest, baddest guy in New Orleans. Charles Bronson takes him down, and then we got a problem on our hands because everybody wants a piece of this guy. And also they have a big fight out in some like plantation area.
Oh, weird.
And it's outside, and Charles Bronson very handedly won the fight. But the guy who was supposed to give him the money for the winnings stiffed him. And they're like, y'all ain't from here. This is my territory. And you're oh God, what do they call it? You're a ringer.
Oh, okay.
He's like, you're a ringer. I don't trust this. I was like, I got played, so you're not taking my money. And Charles Bronson very calmly, Speed, obviously, James Coburn's character, he's like, oh, we got to get the money. And Bronson's like, we'll leave. So they leave, and then they go to this gentleman's bar after, a few hours later. And in probably the best scene in the movie, Charles Bronson just destroys that bar very methodically and slowly and gets the money back and shoots every fucking thing in that bar. And it's great. And then they get the money and they get back and then they fight the big guy. They beat the big guy. And then the other big guy's like, I want to buy you, man. I don't lose. And up until last week, I had the best fighter in New Orleans. Now I don't. Now I want you. And Coburn's like, he's good. So they don't do it. But then they kidnap James Coburn. And so now Charles Bronson's
Are you doing this movie
money,
beat by beat again?
Kinda.
Oh my God.
It's very good.
So now the bar scene, is it better than the carnage in the bar in Near Dark?
It's a very different in Near Dark.
Yeah. You remember Near Dark?
I've never seen Near Dark.
Oh, what?
I
The
know.
Bigelow vampire film?
Yeah, no.
That's one of the most famous, like, we're
I
going to fuck
understand.
this bar up and everybody in it.
I would imagine it's not to that level. Look, this is a very we get a little bit more of a restrained Walter Hill here. You know?
What do you mean?
Meaning that
He's a very genre guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but this one kind of paints in broad strokes here. I think they were going for a big audience.
Yeah.
In this thing, it's a big movie. It's Bronson. It's James Coburn. We got Strother Martin. He's addicted to heroin, by the way.
dude, I'm looking through the stills on Amazon or on IMDb, and it looks like at one point he's fighting a guy that looks like Dana White, like a little like short Dana White.
Yeah.
Oh, but also like all the locations look cool. Like underground, literal, like if you imagine illegal fighting, it's in like, a cage.
The
underground.
movie looks incredible. The fight scenes are not great,
Oh, cool.
but that's okay. I don't care.
Well, it's probably a slugfest, not like a fucking kung fu.
Yeah.
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 But like from the diner to like the above ground graveyards in New Orleans, like it looks fucking interesting.
Also, this thing it's lean, man. It's an hour and a half. It moves. I really, really like Hard Times. Hard Times is great.
When did it come out?
75.
I mean, is that like, I don't know the year of any of his films being released. Like, is it after?
It's definitely I would say it's pre-Southern Comfort.
Okay.
So, all right, let's take a look here. So, one Walter Hill. Oh, I stand corrected. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. Russell hit it. Hard Times is Walter Hill's directorial debut.
Oh, really?
Ah.
1975, followed up by The Driver, then The Warriors, The Long Riders, and then Southern Comfort.
Does that change anything for you?
No, absolutely not. And I think
Cool.
it's honestly, it's it's up there in terms of some of my favorites for him. It's great.
Yeah, that's rad. I mean, the cinematography looks beautiful. I'd like to watch it. Like, there's something about like the way they would film a very genre film in the 70s where it was taken completely seriously. And it kind of looks like Cell Block 99 to me when I was going
Yeah.
through there. Like kind of like gritty tough guy stuff.
It's great.
Yeah.
And Charles Bronson, man, he can carry a movie.
Oh, I'm not very familiar with his work either.
He's great.
Yeah.
He looks like a catcher's mitt.
Yeah, that movie had the look of a film that would not get me to stop and watch a movie. Because remember, all through high school and out, I wanted to play in the NFL, and I was not watching movies. It's horror movies that really, changed my life.
I highly recommend it. Okay. Then also, I've got I don't think it's a Randy retread, but it's definitely a Russell Oksana retread.
Whenever
Russell retread. You gotta
Whenever-
let me do the thing.
whenever we retread a movie, another driver dies. So you guys need to really be careful with this.
Well, we're trying to.
I think this one's worth it.
Oh, you know what it is. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
You don't know what it is because you don't pay attention to things.
Oh my God.
I know what it is.
You got to take that improv class with me, apparently.
Anything for Jackson by Justin G. Dick. Randy, you know how Dick is spelled?
DICQ.
There are a couple of different ways you could go. You went the incorrect route. DYCK.
Whoa.
I don't hate that.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Not boding well for the film.
A bereaved Satanist couple kidnap a pregnant woman so they can use an ancient spell book to put their dead grandson's spirit into her unborn child, but end up summoning more than they bargained for. I won't spend a whole lot of time on this. I think that our listenership, most of which have watched anything for Jackson. When did this come out? Last year? 2 years ago? I'm behind. Oh, 2020.
2020.
Yeah. For whatever it was, I believe this was a Shudder original. Was that right?
I think so, yeah.
I missed this completely. And I don't know how that happened, but I am glad that I caught up with it. And I think that one of the things that drew me to this was the character who played the grandfather, Julian Richings, who is great. He has a very unique look. He is tall, very slender, doesn't have an ounce of fat on his face,
Nope.
which makes him look very bony and protruding. And he also was a character on one of my favorite shows called Patriot, which was an Amazon Prime show, and he played a character named Ichabod, which is perfect for him.
He also played a character in Urban Legend called Weird Janitor.
Fuck yeah. He also played in Roxy Hunter and the Horrific Halloween.
Oh, we got to check that out.
Roxy Music Hunter. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Randy, for your pity laugh. Anything for Jackson. Okay. I mean, look, here's the thing. This movie's great. You know, I liked the sort of rotating demons that came into place that was happening with this. The kidnapping of a pregnant woman in order to summon their dead grandchild back. And the reveal of that was very good.
Did you like the humor?
Yes,
Because that was a horror comedy.
the humor came in the in the gags, I guess it was in the death scenes.
Kind of the situation, too.
Yeah,
Because everybody's kind of blasé about what they're doing. Even like, dude, their interaction with that Necronomicon was one of my favorite things.
this is a tricky tone to navigate, and it works perfectly because there's a lot of things happening in this movie, and it all works.
Yeah.
Everything works.
It navigate, like, actually, if I remember correctly, do they have one of those, like, we're meeting in a gymnasium and everybody's sitting in a circle moments?
Yeah, well, yes, they that's the church.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, in movies, whenever comedy's trying to do like that, whatever that kind of scene is, they always like they end up cringy, and I hate them. But I remember liking that one a lot, especially for doing the kind of like we're Satanists, but we're also really lame.
Yeah.
Which like Metalocalypse did a good job of. But dude, the memory I have from watching this film is just Oksana being terrified of the ghosts.
So there was one ghost that is very acrobatic
Oh yeah.
to a certain extent. What is that character's name? He is so that actor, that is what he does. He was in Channel Zero as Pretzel Jack.
Oh, okay.
Y'all have not seen
I still haven't watched it.
Channel Zero's incredible. I still haven't finished the Pretzel Jack thing. That's something I can do today. Yay, Halloween!
Yay.
And then he's also in that terrible movie y'all saw, and he's in it for like 5 seconds. Separation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in that as well. So he's great. The guy who throws himself in the wood chipper, love that guy.
Yeah.
Great scene. And the cop, can I just leave it at the cop?
Yeah, you can.
They kept shooting.
Yeah. No, that's
a great
one,
gag.
That's the one that got Oksana.
Yeah.
And also just their treatment of ghosts, like the lingering effect. Like, I don't know. Dude, the tone of this movie just worked somehow.
Yeah.
Like it really felt like it shouldn't, but it was great.
Also, tense.
So what brought
Very
you
effective.
What brought you back to it?
I had been meaning to see it for a while, and I'm like, you know what? I'm in a good spot. I need a horror movie to talk about this week. Let's do it.
It's not Halloween, right? No. Okay. It feels like it could be. Like you could make an argument for that film.
It's like it feels like a haunted house movie sometimes.
Well, I think when you have like a ritual or like a seance, I would say that kind of counts for Halloween. I don't know. Kind of like how a snow movie kind of counts for a holiday horror for me too. But again.
Well, this was also a snow movie.
A lot of snow.
Yeah.
Hella snow, dude.
All right. Repeat on December. Well, let's do it.
But and also I would say that the grandmother, Sheila, played by Sheila McCarthy, is great. It's a great couple.
Yep.
And you know, it's a sad story. But again, if you think about the director's job, what is a director's job? A director's job is tone management, honestly. If you boil down everything, it's tone management. And I think that Mr. Dick did a great job of this. As you know, as I said, this is a busy movie. There's a lot of things going on, and this thing could have went south quickly because of the tone, but solid. Really like Anything for Jackson. Great.
Yeah, and look, after Anything for Jackson, he did Pony Sitters Club, The Big Sleepover, Love in Harmony Valley, Christmas in the Rockies, A Christmas Exchange, Romance in the Wilds, and Christmas in the Wilds.
Dude, he's all doing TV movies.
He's probably making a shitload of money. He's doing a lot of little kid work.
I want to watch all the stuff that Troy James is in. He plays some horrible looking monsters. He was also in Hellboy.
Hellboy?
Yeah.
How?
He played Baba Yaga, which I didn't know was in Hellboy because I never finished it.
Yeah.
Well, he played what?
Baba Yaga?
Baba Yaga.
You know what is in Hellboy? A lot of Tecate Light.
Hell yeah.
Gross.
Dude, right? Yeah. I remember Hellboy 2. Hellboy and Abe are just pounding Tecate Light. And I'm like, nobody does that.
Also, Justin G. Dick directed a movie in 2014 called Monkey in the Middle.
Does it talk?
It is a children's film. Chris has just moved to the East Coast and is already a workaholic, and already his workaholic father is encouraging him to make new friends. Luckily, football, in parentheses, they wrote soccer, practice is starting up, and Chris meets a few kids on the team, including his cute neighbor, Mara. When Mara invites Chris to help liberate some mistreated animals from the local fair, Chris accepts. This is the longest thing ever. We've got 5 more sentences.
All right, let's power through 'em.
All right, Chris accepts. They head to the fair that night, but they get busted by ringleader Malik, who chases them off the grounds. It isn't until the next morning that Chris realizes Momo, a lovable little monkey, stowed away in his backpack. Not wanting to send Momo back to Malik's greedy clutches, Chris must find a way to keep him out of sight. But handling a monkey does not have his perks. Mara is spending a lot of time with Chris, and Momo is even lending Chris a paw on the football field. Chris's summer is bound to have a lot of monkey business, but it's not enough to drive him bananas.
It's like one of your movie reviews.
It's like a 2-sentence horror story somebody sent us. God damn.
Dude, every time they always write football practice, but they put soccer in parentheses.
I wonder if Birdman's seen that movie. Shout out to a former guest and animal enthusiast in cinema.
This is a Birdman movie.
Also, shout out to Birdman. Back in our when I was in Seattle and you all did an episode without me and called me in, I returned home after that episode. I don't know why I set it up that way, but to find a book in this room that he lent you, The Skeleton Takes a Bow.
Yes.
I was going to read that book as a bit. I started about 2 weeks ago. I'm halfway done with it. And I'm here to report that the bit's not going to work, because the only thing that book is quality. It's a pretty good family mystery, which the only thing, I thought it was going to be cringeworthy because it seemed like an Amazon Prime author who had like written a book. There's a ton of these. Oksana's really into the Ice Barbarian series right now. Go ahead and Google that if you're on a computer. It's a ripped blue looking Fabio hanging out with the girl. And all the titles of these books are like Loving the Ice Barbarian, Having the Ice Barbarian's Baby. What was it? Ice Baby is the title.
Yeah.
Anyway, The Skeleton
Barbarian Lover.
Yeah, they're romance novels with blue Fabio. Anyway, Skeleton Takes a Bow. Wholesome family fun. Honestly, I wanted to roast that book. I can't. It's just good, and it's self-aware. So if you're looking for, I don't know, the Hardy Boys, but a single mom whose best friend is a skeleton, check it out.
Nice.
Is it my turn?
Russell Fisher, it's your turn.
All right. I did warn everybody last week that I was going to be watching a lot of film. I have 3 written down that I want to talk about. I just remembered one while we were recording, and there are a couple that I can't even remember. We watched something last night, whatever. Shout out to Cockazoid that we watched at, what was that? Salem Horror on their online thing. Do you know, Oksana?
Yeah, it was Salem.
Yeah. Listener Sam came over and we watched it. The reason Cockazoid was on our radar is it was written by the dude that wrote the book that I kept dropping in interviews, Amygdalatropolis, which is a bleak tale of agoraphobia told through an anonymous forum. And Cockazoid is pretty much a Harmony Korine meets Richard Linklater shot by Robbie Smith feature. Robbie, if you're listening, definitely check this one out. It's great. It premiered at Salem. I'm going to keep track of it, so whenever people can watch it wide, I'll bring it up. Anyway, the first film I'm going to talk about is Randy and Clark's favorite director, Edgar Wright, and his new film, Last Night in Soho.
Last Night in Soho makes the heart grow hunger.
An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s when she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. But the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dream of the past starts to crack and splinter into something darker. Last Night in Soho, a.k.a. 3 Hours in Soho, a.k.a. Last Night Was So-So. This movie is a hard 3 stars for me.
Yeah.
You know what? He's got the Tarantino wannabe problem where what's Eli Roth has it too.
Oh,
Where they're huge fans
don't
of
put Edgar Wright and Eli Roth.
You know what?
Camp,
I'm going to.
dude.
They're peas in a pod, man.
Oh man.
I would love to hear him talk about. Actually, I don't know if that's true for Eli Roth, but actually, it's true that I wouldn't want to hear that, as I own his first season of the horror history shit. I got through half an episode. I think I covered it on the show.
Now, I've heard you have said that you like him as a person. You like to hear him talk.
Yeah, but I'm kind of, I don't know. Currently where I'm at right now, I'm very zen. I'm doing kettlebell workouts.
Oh my God.
Kettlebell. I don't want to hear him talk right now. The thing is, well, are we talking about Edgar Wright?
Yeah.
Okay, Edgar Wright I do actually like.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's a fanboy. And Last Night in Soho is
You're a fanboy.
beautifully directed. I mean, the film technically is great. Honestly, if you're interested in this movie, go to the theater. Because if you watch it at home, it's not going to work. It's very music heavy.
Yeah.
And it's very grand in that scale. And you need it. And I really think it helps. My problem is that it's a gothic horror story that is just fucking convoluted. This movie, how long is it? We're talking a 2-hour movie. And it doesn't need to be. He could have cut this down to 90 minutes. And the thing is, everything's beautiful in there. I love, who's the lead, Oksana? I love that girl.
Thomasin McKenzie.
Yep. She was great. Anna Taylor-Joy what's her name? Anya Taylor. She was good too. I'm not a huge fan of her.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm transfixed.
She's
by her.
great in it. The thing is, I wanted this movie to be Roman Polanski, a story about a girl going to the city and having like a mental breakdown. As
Yeah.
bad as that sounds, that's what I thought it was. It's really not. And it turns into a gothic horror with a kind of like who done it. Also, there's a lot of like hallucinatory like imagery that, you know, they never unravel the enigma, but I don't know, it just feels convoluted. Again, everything on screen, it's masterful. Like, it's beautiful. There's a lot of visual metaphor. If you cringe when I talk about duality and mirrors in films, that's this movie. Also,
But it also had a lot of like banging on glass and like breaking through it. It had at least 3 instances of that.
it had a lot of ghosts too, which were, man, I didn't like them. You know,
Not effective at all. There was
No.
too much like digital scares and stuff
Oh,
that like, yeah.
shit, I didn't realize you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it Friday night.
What
At the
did you
plaza.
think? What'd you think?
I also really didn't care for it. I didn't not enjoy the experience of watching it, but by the time I ended, I was like, I don't really feel anything for this movie. Like, it just felt like window dressing, kind of, you know?
Yeah, like it's a beautiful film. It was it's made. It's great.
Yeah.
The problem is that script did nothing for me. And even though everybody's
Same.
killing, also, you know what? They have like fashion in there too. And I realized I
Uh-huh.
really like fashion and like horror and kind of like being obsessed with how we present. Oh, also a horror movie, a Halloween movie. There's
Yeah.
kind of out of nowhere, they go to a Halloween party. And it's like, okay.
Well, you never really know what season or what month it is, like
And-
ever.
And I think that was like a narrative choice where it's kind of like, we can't track the passage of time, except it doesn't feel like that. By the end of the movie, it feels like she's been there 3 days. And if you like those movies where isolation makes you go crazy, it's really important that you hit that beat and you really make audiences feel kind of like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Never felt that way. It felt like she was kind of doing it to herself. I don't know.
You didn't like the, I don't know, excitement to be like a voyeur from the main character.
You know, I would have, except I didn't love the dream stuff. Also, I felt like the problem is that she's an unreliable narrator in her own dreams, which I feel like is bad storytelling. Because if you have an unreliable narrator and we're in a visual medium, it makes sense that, you know, as an audience member, you're like, oh, fuck, I've been delusional like the protagonist. Except if she's like, light spoiler, maybe, I don't know, if she's kind of like a psychic, or if she really doesn't have a connection with this thing and is dreaming up a scenario that happens to be almost real, like, why? Like, that doesn't work for me. Again, this movie's just not for me. It came off like a hardcore fanboy with some talent.
I think he's an incredible visual storyteller.
Yeah.
I think that, as you stated before, scripts, not a strong suit.
Now, I didn't see Baby Driver, but I remember being at the Alamo and Mike Keegan, former program director there, just saying like, dude can't write a script.
I can confirm. I did not care for Baby Driver.
So what do you think it is? Do you think like all the Simon Pegg stuff was like kind of like
I don't know. Baby Driver exhausted me with it was
Also, Baby Driver made me think of a baby driving a car, which I could never.
Which is a
get
way
over.
better movie. Way better movie. The issue with Baby Driver is something that I think that may have been the first time that I have been it's the busiest, boring movie I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, that's a good way to describe this one too.
Yeah.
Yep,
Dude.
100%.
Dude, the whole time there's shit going on. There's always stuff to look at. People are always acting great, yet there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's and that's frustrating because I'm a big fan of the Coronado trilogy. I like all three of those. I like Hot Fuzz.
Okay, yeah.
I like Shaun of the Dead. I like The World's End.
Never saw that one. But
I
love
like
the
that
other two.
one. I
Okay.
do
Yeah,
like that
same.
one. But past that, Scott Pilgrim. Look, Scott Pilgrim has its own fans. I get that.
Yeah.
And it's cool to look at. Didn't do a whole lot. It's not for me. And Baby Driver, I thought, okay, nope.
Well, here's the thing. Scott Pilgrim.
I love a heist movie.
You know, that movie wasn't for me either. And I actually went and read the manga too. And I love the arcade game. But the movie, I understand why people like that movie. with this one, I'm like, dude, it feels like a random thing you click on Netflix and then forget you watch the next day.
Yeah.
So honestly, I mean, if you think we're crazy and you really like Baby Driver, Boss Baby Driver, go to the theater because you're a fool if you don't. I mean, this movie will not play great at home.
I thought the ghosts were really effective. I don't know why you guys didn't. I mean, they were super digital, but they kind of like poured out of the walls and surrounded her sometimes. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Less is more. And when you watch this film, the fucking ghosts, once they show up, they never go away. And I was like, dude, they're cool, but stop. Like, also, for a movie about a location, I wish we were on the ground more. And when they're walking around the streets, dude, there's a lot of eye candy there. I just don't care where they're leaving and where they're going. Yeah, I don't know. In a nutshell, again, I didn't hate it. But honestly, I'm going to forget I watched it.
Yeah.
All right. The next film is the movie that, it's one of these pre-pandemic movies that everybody was excited about 2 years ago. And when you attach Guillermo del Toro's name to it, he's a mixed bag. He never makes the movie you exactly want, but it's always worth watching. And I believe, was he a producer on this, or am I completely making that up? He might have just commented on it and
he slapped his name on it.
He was a producer.
Well, Scott Cooper.
He's going to get some back end points.
Agent Cooper directed Antlers. In an isolated Oregon town, a middle school teacher and her sheriff brother become embroiled in her enigmatic student, whose dark secrets lead to a terrifying encounter with a legendary ancestral creature who came before them. That, I don't like that sentence. Antlers is a small movie. It's very to the point, and it's got an interesting web of character motivations. This is a movie where if you watched it, please DM me. Let's talk about it. I have a lot to say. And when we left the theater, I was actually in the reverse position where Oksana and Terrell, who we went to one night in Soho with, liked that movie, and I didn't. Antlers, everybody was kind of like flip-floppy. There were some complaints that it was boring. I don't understand that.
Those came from one person. It wasn't me.
I know, and I think he was baiting us. But, dude,
Wait, he was jerking you off?
I dug it. I mean, that might have helped the movie experience for me, but...
Getting a tug job?
Yeah, getting the tug job. Anyway, dude,
have you seen
I thought it was great.
Have you seen any of Scott Cooper's previous works?
I'm not familiar with him at all.
Scott Cooper is one of the few directors I have seen all of his feature films.
Oh, okay. How many?
2009, Crazy Heart. 2013, Out of the Furnace. 2015, Black Mass. 2017, Hostiles. And now Antlers in 2021.
These all look like movies where the main character has a gun. Or something like...
Out of the Furnace is, right?
Out of the Furnace definitely is. Black Mass definitely is, because that's about Whitey Ford. Hostiles is
so I don't
it's
know.
A Western, yes.
What am I articulating there? Is he like a blue collar director?
So here's the thing. So he's an actor.
Oh, okay.
Scott Cooper's an actor, and I'm actually halfway through Scott Cooper's appearance on oh my God. On Roger Deakins' podcast.
Oh, okay.
That he does with his wife. And so I like Scott Cooper. Scott Cooper is an actor who just decided he wanted to direct films, and he had Robert Duvall kind of helped him get started with Crazy Heart, and I like Crazy Heart. I think is my favorite movie of his. Out of the Furnace did not work for me. Black Mass did not work for me. Hostiles almost fully worked for me. I like Crazy Heart. Scott Cooper's been one of those where he starts with interesting ideas, and it's almost there for me every time. And there's just a couple things, and so I'm always pulling for it. And I've been I've anticipated Antlers for a while, because COVID bumped that back. We were supposed to get it last year, and then I think it got pushed back a couple more times. So was definitely looking forward to it. I will try to see it this week. But yeah, I would encourage you to go back, and I like Hostiles. Randy, did you see that one with Christian Bale?
No, I saw Out of the Furnace, but I haven't seen Hostiles.
Yeah, Out of the Furnace just did not work for me. And neither did Black Mass. Black Mass was kind of a mess. Black mess, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, do you all know the I wanted to say rules. Do y'all know the myth of the Wendigo?
No.
No
All right.
idea.
Wendigo is kind of like a, when you're in the horror community and people are constantly trying to bring up new ideas, we go to a lot of like folklore. So, indigenous people, a Native American, like Inuits, they have Wendigo, which is kind of a morality monster. That the lesson the Wendigo teaches you is don't cannibalize people. And that seriously is it. You're not supposed to eat humans. And if you do, the Wendigo may find you or you may turn into one. There's a bunch of different adaptations. I bring that up because it's not really a spoiler here. This is a Wendigo movie, except the application is really interesting. And what this film is really dealing with is kind of like rural town trauma. And the cast of characters, man, they're great. We double featured this with the next film I'm about to talk about. And we had like 5 people to watch both. And a lot of great conversation came out of this movie and just kind of dissecting the protagonist's motivation and why events occur in this movie. Again, complete opposite of One Night in Soho. We do have like kind of like beautiful, almost like fantasy-esque Oregon cinematography. You get a lot of like small town, like imagine if you have like a small corner store, but the shot is across the street and behind the corner store you see like Olympian kind of mountains, just like it's a lot of rural town meets nature. And it's beautiful. I really like this movie.
How's the kid?
So there are 2 children in this film. The older of the 2 is the one that we follow the most. He's great. He's kind of a subdued role. He doesn't talk a lot. He's a kid dealing with a lot. And our main lead, she's a teacher. So that dynamic can always be kind of tricky.
Carrie Russell?
Yeah. Who I did not know from WB. Felicity.
I've had a crush on Carrie Russell my whole life.
You know what? This is one of those movies where Carrie Russell, very beautiful actress, right? They dress her down.
They grime her up.
And like
love it.
Like when you do that and when your lead character is dealing with the dad who's cooking meth in a mine.
Sure.
Like, dude, it's
hard times.
This is a good
1975.
It's very hard times. Dude, I definitely recommend Antlers. And I would love to just fucking talk about this. So honestly, DM me, Lord Battle on Instagram.
Cue up the next one. I'm going to pee and then I'm going to come back and tell you how you're wrong.
Okay. Well, the next movie after we watched Antlers, we all came back here to the Overlook Mountain and we streamed a movie that I couldn't have been more excited for. I love a franchise film. I also love a found footage film. And once you start getting up into the, once you get past 5 entries, oh man, who knows what you're going to get. We're watching the 7th entry of Paranormal Activity, aka Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. Margaret, a young woman abandoned by her mother as a baby, travels to a secluded Amish community with a documentary film crew, seeking answers about her mother and extended family. Where do we begin here? It's a Paranormal Activity that is going for a mockumentary that takes place in an Amish community. What an idea. Now, the veins of found footage. Found footage is a film medium where the audience is at the mercy of our protagonist. Without somebody being the conduit into that world, we don't see anything. And that electric eye is all we have. So when you take our filmmaker, essentially our tour guide through the movie, and put them in a community that is like essentially anti-electronics, instantly everything is tension building here. This film, just so you know, it's less Paranormal 1 through 4 and more the marked ones. It's definitely kind of like remote, tangential. I'll tell you right now, as Clark comes back in the room, I loved it. I had a ton of fun. I also had 2 people in the movie doing some 1999 throwback roasting of the film. I actually had to tell them to stop at one point because
1999.
Yeah, like right off of the Blair Witch.
Oh,
like,
okay.
oh, why are we filming here? And I had to turn around. Let me give a quick shout out to our East Bay cinematographer friend, Jasadi, who was like, boy, you got to update the jokes. Like,
maybe don't call him boy.
I know.
God.
I should call him girl as he has transitioned. That's how
Not
you
helping.
That's how you dig a hole
Not
deeper.
helping.
No, but I'm like, dude, come on. Like, we run a found footage film fest. We've heard everything. And honestly, you know, the stigma of the genre, it's come a long way and it's actually dissipated. Again, I always talk about the ARG negotiation. If you're here for the journey, you'll enjoy the film. If you come in there with like, now to play devil's advocate to myself, when you call something Paranormal Activity, you're already up. There's a lot of baggage there, and I think for the people that were roasting it coming in, they already were like, "Oh, Paranormal Activity," which, I mean, what is a security camera narrative mostly. This one is no. We've got characters. It's handheld. We do a little bit of mixed media, not a lot, and we go for it. I would say this is more akin to As Above, So Below than any of the other Paranormal Activity entries. Now, I know you didn't like it, Clark.
Yeah, hated it.
There's also some things that I had real issues with in this movie. But what did you hate about it?
Okay. Russell, it's a bigger picture on this. I think I am morally offended by Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, and here's why. Yes, I understand.
No spoilers, right?
Oh, okay, I'll go no spoilers. I'll stick to broad strokes here. There's some things I enjoyed about this, but overarchingly so, when you look at the big picture of this thing, I think it is an offense to found footage on a couple different levels. Now, this one was picked up by Paramount Plus, and it's streaming on Paramount Plus, and there is money all over the place. This thing looks incredible. They've got toys. They've got incredible production value, and none of which has been previously present in any of the other Paranormal Activity films. I have no problem with franchise films changing directions. I've got no issue with that, and sometimes I think it's brilliant. You know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre to Texas Chainsaw 2. You know, changing things up. Exorcist 3. You know, making things a little different. I've got no problems with that, even within the found footage genre. But the reason why I like the found footage genre is because I am a person who was born with a chip on his shoulder. And I like things that also have chips on their shoulder. For example, where I went to school, smaller conference, we get shit on by the big boys. We're in the SEC footprint, so we get brushed aside. But I stick with my guns. I support what I support. Smaller, niche, I like these things. And then when you take the niche things and you throw money in it to try to make it more popular, it's just bullshit. And I don't like what they did here. It didn't add anything to this. They're just plastering the paranormal name on it to try to get that crowd in there because they, they put money in it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a found footage horror film, so it's not a ton of money. So it's a good marketing thing, and it's a good thing for the studio. And it just felt very studio. It felt very gross, and I don't like that with my found footage. And it just felt icky to me. Have you seen all the Paranormal Activity movies? I've seen most of them. Have you seen the marked ones? No. I've been meaning. All right. Yeah, there you go. It's it actually feels a lot like the marked ones. Again, but think about Paranormal Activity, stationary security cameras versus handheld like documentary. In the marked ones, it's a couple of kids running around with the camera. Completely different feel. We were actually talking about whether or not this movie was actually like acquired after, like if it wasn't meant to be a Paranormal Activity thing. Yeah. There is like a moment. It seems like they made it during the pandemic. Yeah, for sure. Well, they did. And like Randy mentioned earlier, with just like
acknowledging that, like with film and wearing masks. They do in here. I actually kind of liked it though.
Rand, did you see this movie?
No, I haven't seen it. I've also only seen like the first 2 paranormal movies.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Don't watch 4.
I'm a big fan of ParaNorman though.
Okay,
My man.
cut his mic.
Also, I am sick of us exploiting the Amish community.
Okay,
It's boring. It's tired. It just felt lazy to me.
okay.
I just
Well,
don't care.
Now I like again. I mentioned I like the conflict with people living off the land with no electricity, with a found footage film. Like those are 2 different worlds colliding. The things I liked about this film actually are a lot of the money things. If you have money in a found footage movie, you really got to take us somewhere different. And in the 3rd act, there's a location that I loved, and they play around with it a lot. And you couldn't do that without money.
You have no morals.
I was on board for
You're
this
a
all the way.
whore.
Also, I had complaints, and the thing is, earlier I mentioned to Randy, Dogma 95. They have the rule book; they throw it out every time.
Sure.
There isn't a movie that applied by all of them.
I got no problem with that.
This movie broke the golden rule. They have footage of like ghost camera filming. Like there are shots in this movie that get progressively more egregious that are clearly not from a camera. And in the beginning, there's a diner shot. They're doing this Christopher Guest shit where it's like I'm holding the camera and you get a little bit of tension because it's not on a tripod, and they're just talking at a diner, whatever. And it's cross-cut, and there's only one dude with the camera. And you're like, where's that other camera angle coming from? And it's also shaky. So the picture that this like gives you, like the mental image you get, is a dude holding 2 cameras. He's got a Canon in each hand, filming at a weird angle, and they're cross-cutting between it. It's like, you know what? Whatever. That's fine. I'm here for the fun. Like, let's watch this movie. Then in the 2nd act, we get some like over the shoulder shit, and it's like, now one of the comments I made during the movie is that the aesthetic of this film is very Outlast 2. If you play video games, you know what I mean. We're in a like Amish adjacent community, and we have a frame of, like a video camera, and it's kind of the conduit in that game similar into this movie. That's interesting. We got into a debate about how video game this film is. It's dumb. If you want to have that, contact me. The 3rd act, though, there is a moment where the camera shifts from a camera, we're looking through the lens of a camera, to over the shoulder, to POV embodied in somebody's head, to back to over the shoulder, to a ghost camera floating, and our lead, she falls on the ground, hits the ground, which reverberates it. It causes a software glitch in the ghost camera. That bothered me to no end. Because I'm like, now, somebody's editing this movie. They have to be aware that this is not represented by any camera that we've seen in this film. She hits the ground, but it shakes the camera, kind of like it was on a tripod that shook. And to like, I don't know, blend it in, they do the fucking like digital thing. And I'm like, oh. Besides that aneurysm, I thought it was a lot of fun. You didn't like the goofy boom guy?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't like anything.
Really?
Is that
you didn't
Dan Lippert,
Oh, I don't know.
the actor? I was just looking at the cast. Dan Lippert is in this,
Yeah.
and he's also regularly on Comedy Bang Bang podcast.
Oh, wow. A podcast that y'all talk about that I've
that's him.
never given a chance to. I really liked his character in this movie. He did but again, the thing that Clark's not wrong. This film, if the devil was in the room and they're like, hey, we have this like nice little movie, his hand's out and he says, shake my hand and I will make people like your movie more. But you need to compromise all of your integrity. And at any point
Sold.
where we have a hard found footage moment, we need to take it in a like casual film audience moment. And we need to just make this fun. We need to gloss over shit. We need some like lowbrow humor.
Brady, there's slow-mo.
There is Chekhov's slow-mo.
Chekhov's slow-mo, dude.
Now, because we had the old men from the Muppet Show in the back of the room, I and there we before the movie we were talking about the use of the whole origin of Chekhov's blank, and how the only time that you can do it wrong is when there's no payoff, and it's actually not a Chekhov's thing, and it's like B-roll that had too much emphasis, and you're like, that shotgun over the fireplace is going to come in later, and it doesn't. So after that conversation, while we were watching this movie, they do slow-mo, and I turned around to the grumpy old man and I said, that's Chekhov's slow-mo. And I was right. And weird choice once again. You didn't like the Chekhov slow-mo?
So I did not watch this with you guys. I turned this on at like midnight on Friday night when I got in. Because you decided to watch the movie without me.
Well,
So cool, thanks.
You were flying back from Arizona where you party and have chicken tenders and
wouldn't have
cigarettes.
stayed through that whole.
Yeah.
If you're watching
I'm sorry, I watched the whole thing by myself after
Mhm.
you guys did. So fuck you.
Yeah, but you also walked out as Satan's little helper. When
I
we
know
were
I got
watching.
tired.
Okay, there you go.
That's different. Wait, what was your original question?
If you had liked Chekhov's slow-mo.
No, dude, when that happened, I went, fuck this. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, again, this movie was not made for people who are running a found footage film fest. Although I now feel
It
like
felt icky and gross to me, man.
Oksana, where are you on this movie?
I need to rewatch it.
Oh, cool. You're the
Started it
tiebreaker.
late.
You
Sleepy Town?
Well, not because of the movie, but yeah, we started it very late, and I don't know. I did. I was, I guess, disappointed. I don't know, unhappy when it broke format, but I think it got over it. I really liked the characters. I don't know. I'm pro next of kin.
I like how you took a completely neutral stance. Also, she did fall asleep.
I feel like I missed a lot of key points of the story that I heard about later.
Well,
so.
normally when I'm teasing you about falling asleep, it's because you're in and out, and I know how. Again, I've talked about it on the show. That's like the worst feeling in the world. This one, she was taking a nap.
This was an uninteresting, unoriginal idea that they just slapped the Paranormal Activity name on it to try to make some money. This thing is gross. I hate it. We'll see you next week.
All right.
No, we're not going to end it. But
Okay.
no, yeah. Closing thoughts.
I thought it was a fantastic premise. Great ideas.
Idiot.
I love the Amish. Let's bring cameras in there. Let's again. One of the things they did right, and we've talked about on here, is when you're doing like Man Bites Dog, the real villain they're the people filming. And this film, they really get the whole there's no privacy when there's a camera around vibe. And I love that theme. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty thoughtful. Probably not intended to be a found footage movie.
It did feel like, I don't know if it was careless or just like lazy to.
Okay, you were asleep.
Well, no, I mean, from what I saw, because there was one point where I think it was the main character's point of view, but they did treat it like it wasn't the one you were talking about, I don't think, but like they treat her point of view as if she's a camera.
Okay, clearly you were drunk and taking a nap. She has no idea what she's talking about.
All right.
It's the best way to watch a movie.
Don't ask me.
That's also fair.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that wraps up this episode. I do want to do a light tease for you on Thursday. We've got a hell of a treat for you. No tricks, just treats. Thursday, we've got Nigel Bach coming back on the show. We can fully announce that as it's in the can, and unless Randy fucks it up, we're going to be good to go for Thursday.
Also,
Randy, I say that tongue-in-cheek and jokingly, as I have nothing but love and admiration for what you are and what you do for us at this show.
Thank you, sir.
Just thought of another plug we should have been doing for a month now. The F5 submissions are still open. I know we mentioned that one time back in August. Who knows? They're still open, and it's coming together. So I hope people are getting excited for that. And TBR will be back next week.
Yay.
Don't worry, you don't have to do anything.
Great.
You can watch a football game again.
Randy, take her home.
And I may see you guys next week as I will be in California flying in Saturday morning. So maybe the next episode people listen to will be a in-person episode.
Let's do it.
Bye.
Weirdo.